Hello and welcome to Midweek Masterpiece. This week we're going to paint this Birch Creek. Super easy and super fun for everyone. I'm going to show you how to paint this and you're going to create your very own masterpiece. It is so easy and fun. You're going to love it. So come along and let's get started. Okay, this one is super easy for beginners to advanced. Here it is again. I was going to use different colors, but I think we'll just use the same. I'm going to use, these are Master Touch. You can use any paint, any color. Orange and yellow medium, and of course black and titanium white. And I'm going to use a little lake blue. Now these are just very basic orange, yellow, and kind of a sky blue color. Excuse me. Okay, so I'm going to actually try this tonight. We're going to use this little sponge brush and see if it blends really well. So what we're going to do is the middle of the painting is where the sunset is. Below it is a creek that has the sky being reflected in it, and then the sky above. So we're going to take a little bit of orange and we're going to go right down the middle, because this is going to be the sky above and the reflection. And we're just going to mirror image everything. So we'll use a little orange. My sponge it's a little damp. It's not real wet. I might have to use a brush, but I was using this earlier. So now we're going to get out a little yellow. And let's take the yellow, and I apologize, I'm just dipping this in sideways, getting it on one side, and the sponge is still dirty. And we're just going to blend it into the orange. And we do want it to be yellow, so might have to let it dry and add a little more. Let's see, let me add a little more yellow, because it did carry the orange quite a bit. And you can let it dry in between. I just kind of wanted to blend it a little bit. Add a little yellow. Yeah, now we have orange and yellow, kind of mirrored. And then I want to add my blue. You know, let's go a little higher with the yellow. Sorry about that. A little higher with the yellow, a little more yellow. And down here, a little lower with the yellow. And I'm just barely touching and dragging this back and forth to kind of blend it a little bit. And I will paint the sides, because I really like to, when I hang these up, I love to see the color on the side instead of framing it. I'm going to rinse that off, and I tell you what we're going to do is I'm going to use a different brush, a little 1-inch brush that's already clean. And we're going to take a little of the blue, and sorry I didn't have it out on my plate yet. So I've got a little blue and a little white. See, it's just a touch. Because this is such a small canvas, the 6x6 really is small. I'm going to use a lot of white and just a little blue, and we're going to make a kind of a bright blue here. And we're going to add it to the top. I'm going to try to keep it away from the yellow for now. And I'm going to make it a little darker. Let's go a little darker. Keep it away from the yellow a little bit so it doesn't turn green just yet. And down here we'll make it also a dark blue, just kind of a mirror image. Oops. And then I'm going to add a lot of white, and we'll just have a very light blue, and we'll blend it kind of into the yellow. And we'll get a little bit of green there. I'm barely touching it, back and forth just to blend it just a little. Now, I'm going to go ahead and take my brush and Oh, lost my paper towel. Let me get my paper towels. Okay, and I'm gonna take my brush and I'm just gonna wipe that off because I don't want any green on there. And we're gonna do the light blue again. Oops, that's weird. Okay, oops. Sorry about that. I think I'm having a problem with my plug. Okay, let's try this again with my light blue. It's a brand new light, sorry. Okay, got the light blue, and we're gonna go right here. And I have to get my brush damp because it is really dry here today. So I'm just dipping it into a little bit of water and then adding it. So get the light blue, and we're gonna carry it back up into the yellow. Make a little green. And it's a little lighter than what's up here, which is great because it's supposed to be more of a reflection than, it's not the sky, it's actual reflection in the water. I am just going back and forth with my brush. I'm barely touching it, just lightly going back and forth and get everything kind of blended down here in the bottom. Got a little yellow. I'm just gonna blend that in with my finger, and that works there. And I kind of like how that looks. That looks really nice. Okay, can you see the whole thing? Okay. Now I'm going to rinse this brush out. Now what we're going to do is, let's take a round brush. Let me see, I need a little more white paint. We're going to take white paint. And I'm going to use a round brush like this. And I'm just going to dip it into the paint sideways and kind of twirl it so I get a little point. And now we're going to put the trees in. So these are the trees that are going to be in the background in the back of the creek. So it's going to be in the middle here. Let's put one here. It is going to blend a little with the orange, and that's okay. I'm just kind of marking my spot. And we'll put a tall one in. I'm barely touching the canvas. And put a big one there and a small one, a few small ones, another big one. These are random, as you can tell. And they're all kind of about even with the middle there. And you can draw a line like I did just to mark your middle. We'll put a tall one in, a couple of small ones. Okay, oops, got a little carried away there, but that's all right. Okay, so there's our background trees. I'm gonna rinse my brush out while I figure out what we're gonna do next. Next, I kind of wanna show where my water is. So I'm gonna dip my brush into my blue, and let's just twirl it to get a nice point. And it's not exactly center, so let's go off center and we'll start it. And it's got, this is the little creek, so it's gonna have some swirls in it as it comes down, and as it comes down and gets closer, it'll be bigger. And then we'll start up here like this and go in like that. And let's go out a little further here, and that's all right there. We'll cover all that up. Okay. So now I kind of got a line for where my water's gonna be. Okay, let's see. Now we're also gonna have a couple of little more blue here. We're gonna have a couple of little rocks in the middle of the water. One about right here. And I am just doing a random shape. I'm just kind of drawing a shape. Not round, not anything special, just a weird little shape because rocks aren't any particular shape. And let's put another one maybe right here. A little more blue paint, and oops, it's a little thick on there, but that's all right. We're gonna go over it with white. There are no mistakes here. Okay. So now we've got that part on there and we've kind of got everything outlined. Let's see about putting in, I think right now what we need to do is I'm going to fix this a little bit, make it a little more rounded. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to let this dry a little bit because I do have it pretty thick right now with paint. And I do want it to be dry to carry on any more steps. So if you have a dryer, a hair dryer, you can use a hair dryer on low or a cool setting. Or you can go get a nice cup of coffee or a tea, wine, whatever it is you're drinking, and meet me back here as soon as yours is dry, and we will continue. Okay, through the magic of video, I paused it and I believe mine is dry now. I believe so. We're going to give it a shot. So the next thing we're going to do is I've got a 1-inch brush and I'm going to go into my white and I'm going to get some white on my brush and we're going to fill all of this in because this is going to be snow under the trees. And you know, I'm going to have to use a different brush so I can get close to the creek. And this is just our first layer. We will be adding lots of layers to the creek and to the snow. So I'm just going to put on a nice layer of white on both sides. And I'm going up to that center line. And then right to where the creek flows. You can go over that line, that's fine. We'll be changing that a little bit too. Oops, that was still a little wet. And that's okay. Let's see, we'll finish there. So it's just kind of a layer of white. It's not real bright. You can kind of see the colors through and that's fine. And I'm going to go ahead and carry it around to the sides. And then the bottom where I want it to match up there. Just in case it's hung up high and I can see the bottom as well. Carry the snow down and then around on all the sides. And the blue is in there just a little bit, and that's fine too. Like I said, we'll be putting more layers on here, so yours might have different colors blended in it, and that's great because it will add a little more depth to it when we get done. And I'm going to rinse that brush out. So now I'm going to take a very small flat brush. And this is just a little flat brush, maybe 1/4 of an inch. And I'm going to dip it into the black. Now we always work back forwards, right? So I'm going to dip just barely into the side. And it's going to go on both sides. I'm flipping my brush. So there's like a little flat edge, okay? Then on all these trees that I've kind of got back here haphazard, we're just going to add the marks because they are birch trees, and birch trees have the black marks and lines. Oops, I pulled up some paint there. Got some thick white paint there. Okay, that looks all right because birch trees are not perfect. And these are going to be covered quite a bit to make them go further into the background. So they, by any means, do not have to even be close to even looking like perfect marks or anything on a birch tree. I'm just adding a little color for the background because it'll kind of poke through when we add all of the snow. And, oops, the shading. It's a little dark there, but we'll cover that. And I'm just literally touching this with my brush and haphazardly. Okay, so there's some birch trees in the background. So now I'm rinsing my brush And let's go back and take the, I don't want the 1-inch brush. You know, let's go ahead and use that same 1/4-inch brush we just used. I'm going to get white paint, just dipping it in the white paint both sides. And let's kind of plan our tree. So our big tree will be here. And it's going to be in front of this tree, so that's all right. We'll just cover that up. And it's going to come, and it doesn't have to be straight because trees aren't totally straight. It's going to come down maybe an inch from the bottom. Right around there. We can always shorten it with snow if we want to. I'm going to get some more paint, and we're going to put in maybe a tree. Oh, a little too much paint. Put in a tree maybe right here. And I did pull up that paint because I did not let it dry all the way, and that's okay too. We're just going to go over that real light. We'll cover that back up. And then we're going to put another tree maybe right here. Kind of like this. Yeah, make it a little taller. And then I'm going to take the flat edge of my brush with the white, and let's just give some little branches up through here. In the big tree, gets kind of a big branch this way. Like that. Bring it out front. And let's see, make this one a little longer here, I think. And I'm just using that flat edge of my brush, holding it straight up and down. And it's not perfect, and you can see the color through, which is fine because we'll fix that. Rinse my brush out because I had too much paint on there. And let's get the white paint again, and we're going to go over here and we're going to put in this big tree, maybe right here. Yeah. And we're just going to paint that in with my flat brush. And let's see, maybe one right here. And again, my brush is straight up and down, and I'm just putting in, kind of holding it in place here. And getting it to where I want to have my trees. And I think that's good. Now let's go ahead and give this one a branch. Maybe 2, just for good measure. And maybe this direction. And this one can have a little branch. And I am just drawing these in randomly. You can put them anywhere you want to put them. And let's do maybe 2 more little trees back here. And let's go ahead and bring this tree into the foreground like that. Now he's got a lot of black on him, so we will fix that, but we'll bring that one in to a little bit closer. Okay, so we've got those on there, and I just want to make sure, let's see, let's just straighten this guy up a little bit here. Okay, so now we've kind of got him in place, and it kind of looks like a hot mess, and that's fine too. I'm just going to go kind of straighten this up a little bit and this up a little bit, and we've got our trees in place. So then what we need to do now is it really needs to dry pretty good so that we can go ahead and go into the next step. And with the magic of video, you'll see me in 1 second. Okay, through the magic of video, here we are, it's dry. And where were we at? Let's see, I'm gonna take my round brush and white again. And I'm just gonna go ahead and fill in my trees here a little better. And you know, they don't have to be perfect. Trees are not perfect. And this guy, he's a little too orange. So we're gonna fill him in real quick. Sorry, you're gonna hear my cat meowing. She wants in here with me. And we'll do this one. And I was gonna put it up higher, but I think this is fine where it's at. We're gonna put some snow on its branches so we can leave the branches alone for now. Except maybe these branches. Let's do that. See that and that. And I'm just gonna go over these and see how white they are. They're really starting to pop. And these guys were really dark. I guess that paint was definitely wet there. Okay. Oops. Gosh, I got a little too much paint on there. That's right. I'll just blend it in and carry it over here. Okay. Now I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and paint in the white down here. And I'm just taking the round brush with white, and I'm just going to paint in between the trees. And see how there's a little blue there for me? I kind of like that blue there, so I'm going to leave it for now. Get up in here. And don't worry about that line. We are going to put in some shadows, but you can go ahead and paint up over it. And we're going to follow the blue lines by the creek. Oops, shoot. It was black. Okay. And put it in over here. And you know, let's go ahead and go over that line there, even though we'll fill it in better. And following the creek. Just using just paint. This does not have to be straight here because we are going to put in some shadows. Oops, went over the line there. And I just wiped it off with my finger, excuse me. Okay, let's go here. And I'm just painting over the white. I'm also painting up over the tree, the bottom of the tree, which is fine. And well, we'll be replacing that. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is we're going to take the round brush and dip it in the white and kind of swirl it. And these back trees back here, I'm just going to give them snow and kind of make them fade away underneath white dots, kind of foggy. Oh gosh, I don't know how I'm getting this black. So we're just going to put in some white dots over the trees. And it's just going to look like a fog or snow. I'm going to leave a little bit of the orange showing through though, because I want the orange to come out down here. Okay, just little white dots. Randomly. And you're just kind of making it go into the background more. And you don't want them all the same height or the same width. Definitely want some dots sticking out more than others. And if it goes over the tree, you're fine, because we're gonna put some black lines on the trees too. Oops, too much paint. And gosh, I don't know what that is. Piece of a brush maybe. Okay, we'll get rid of that. We'll just keep going with my little dots. And kind of put that back into the back. See how that's kind of in the shadow and kind of hard to tell what it is back there. And it doesn't have to be even or flat, just random dots. Okay, so now we're kind of in the shadows back there. I'm gonna go ahead and rinse out my round brush and get my flat brush and rinse. I had rinsed it off and I just dried off my flat brush. And again, we're gonna go into the black sideways, flatten it out, get a nice flat edge, and we're going to add some of the lines and marks on the trees up front. Now this one, that limb kind of comes in here. So I'll do it like this and kind of work it up the limb just a little. And kind of keep going. And we're going to do this for all the trees. And all I'm doing is, it's got the flat edge, and I just lay it down just a little and just pull it up. And you get some neat marks that way. And then I hold it straight up and down for my straight lines. And let's see, we'll go here, and the same thing, some straight lines. I'm going to use the outside edge because it's kind of a thinner tree. Okay. Oh, can't forget your little branches up here. Black there. And I'm going to give all these little branches just a little touch of black so they pop a little bit. And when we cover them with snow, you'll see them a little better. Okay, just, oops. And you really kind of want the lines to go across. That one kind of went down. That's all right too. Okay, and just a little bit of black here. Oops. We'll cover that with snow. And then this tree up here. And again, this is just random, as you can tell. I'm just putting in some stuff. And where the branches come out, I'm just kind of giving it a little bit of dark right there, like it's connected to the tree. And then up the branch a little bit. And this is just random stuff. This is the fun part. You can have a lot of fun with this. Okay. And this one. And then the last one. Okay. So now I'm going to rinse off my brush. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is we are going to go back to the blue. Get my blue out. We're going to take the same small flat brush. We're just going to get a touch of blue and a little touch of black. I mean, like a little touch of black and some white. And we're going to make a blue-gray mixture. A little more blue, a little more black, because I'll need quite a bit. Oh, probably a little more black. I think my black kind of dried out a little. Okay. And then a little more white. So a blue-gray mixture, kind of like that. I kind of like that. That's pretty. So now I'm gonna just wipe off my brush, and we're gonna do the flat edge. Okay. Just like we've been doing. And I'm gonna touch my canvas where that original blue line was. I'm just gonna touch it and pull it up a little and follow the line. It doesn't have to be perfect, because like I said, we will be giving everything shadows. Okay, and then flat edge on the other side, just down and up. Okay, doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be the same height, anything like that. Okay, I'm gonna rinse this out and dry it off. And let's get some white. And we're gonna take the white and we're going to put it right to the top of that blue, like it's a ledge, like the snow is stopping right there. See how it's kind of giving it a little bit of depth? And you can go over a little bit, and it's just giving it kind of a ledge. And I'm just dotting that white in. To go against the ledge, and then I'll just go ahead and smooth it back into by the trees. And it can be, you know, the blue can come with it, that's fine. Now see how that kind of has a ledge there next to the creek, and I'm going to take the white and I'm going to cover some of my darker blue areas here that I don't like. Okay, and then over here we're going to do the same thing, and I'm just going to put the white up to the blue. Okay, give it kind of a ledge. Like that. And I'm gonna go ahead and paint all the way up to the trees in the background. I'm gonna cover this blue just a little more with the white. It does make the white pop. I am just touching the paint on any old way I want to, however the brush wants to put it on there. And let's go ahead and kind of fill this in a little bit here. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take that blue, gray, you know what, let's make a gray. So we're gonna take just a little tiny bit of black with my dirty brush. A little bit of black with the dirty brush. Let's make some gray color, a light gray. Okay, like a really light gray. I'm gonna go ahead and wipe off my brush. And again, I'm gonna do a flat edge, like so. And we need to give these trees a little bit of shadow coming down in here. So the trees that are in the background are gonna leave a little bit of a shadow. So this one's kind of short. This one's goes over the water, so we're gonna leave it alone. But we'll go ahead and carry it down this way. This one's short, this one's a little taller. And I am just touching my brush in here. Kind of blending in a little into the white. Just kind of looks like shadows. Probably need a little more white over here. Oh, it's blending pretty good there. And I'm just giving the shadows trees. Shadows trees. Giving the trees shadows. Like so. All right. And it's a little dark. Oops, I messed that up. So I'm gonna grab some white real quick. And I'm just gonna make this lighter while it's still wet, and I'm just gonna blend some white in there. If you get it too dark, just mix a little white in there. If it's too tall, shorten it up with a little white. You can always mix in some white. So there's the little shadow of the trees. Now I'm gonna rinse my brush, and what we're gonna do is, let's take this blue-gray we made earlier. Oops, I need to add a little water because mine is drying really fast. I'm gonna do a flat edge. Now, what we're gonna do is put this into the water a little bit so there's a little shadow. So I'm gonna go straight up and I'm just gonna drag it down just a tiny bit. Just a little bit into the water. Orange can show through. Okay, just a little bit of shadow, and I'm going straight down. So there's a little shadow. And the same over here. Just a little bit of shadow, okay? And I gotta darken that up a little. And darken this up just a little bit, a little too much orange showing through over here. Okay, so there's a shadow. And this is probably a little too thick on that side, but we're gonna see. I'm gonna live with that for a little bit and see what happens. Okay, So I'm going to clean my brush, and now what we need to do is we need to take the round brush, and it's clean. I'm going to dip it in the white, and we're going to paint in this rock, or these rocks. Kind of leave some of the blue out there on the outer edge, because it's going to have a little outer edge as well, just to kind of show that it is in the water there. Oops. And this one. All right, so now I'm going to rinse that round brush, and we're going to take that blue-gray color, and let's kind of just blend it with the white just a little bit on the outside. Kind of give that outside blue edge almost like a shadowy look. I need to kind of lost my tip on that one, so let's kind of go like this. We'll blend it in a little bit more. I have to add a little more white because I got the gray in a little too far. But see, that kind of looks like it's got a little shadow. And then in the bottom portion, a little shadow there. And of course the same, we're going to take the same blue-gray with the tip of our round brush, kind of blend it into the white, and I'm just touching it and just kind of swirling it a little bit, going back and forth to cover that dark harsh line with more of a shadow. Okay, so this one probably should be a little more white on the inside, make it stand out more like it's got snow. Okay. Alrighty, so I think what I'll do is I'm going to take a little more white on my round brush, and we're going to brighten up some of these dots back here and make it not, I don't want to see the orange through all of it. So let's just do some more white dots. Let me get some more white paint out. I kind of want it to look a little bit more covered, so let's do that. And I'm just going to make a little bit darker white, a little bit more covered. I do want it to show through since it shows through here, but not so much out. The middle is good to show through. The rest can kind of all be in shadows, even back over here. Cover that up with shadow. Then with the same round brush, just the tip, you can add snow to the tree. I'm just taking the tip and barely touching it randomly because snow falls different levels. And put it on the top of this tree, down here, up here, on all my limbs. And down here, and then this little guy right here, he's got a lot of snow on him, doesn't he? And then this little guy right here, we're going to cover some of the black there, and on the top, and up on this branch right here, and up on the top of this and this, put some snow, make it look really wintry. So now I'm going to take some more white. I'm just going to kind of clean this up down here, make it more white in areas. I did have a lot of dark blue there, and maybe over here a little more white. Yeah, cover up that blue a little bit. What's really neat is down here I got rid of the shadows. Down here you can use snow text, which is like a textured white. It looks like 3D snow, and you can use, the craft paints with the glitter in it. Some of them are crystal looking, and they're really shiny. It makes it look like really pretty shiny snow. However you want to do it, and you can make the sky any color you want. Whatever you want. It's your painting. And I'm just going to go back over a little more white back there. And let's see, I think I'm going to pull this white this way just a little bit more on this ledge. We're going to make this ledge a little smaller. There we go. It can be however you want yours to look. And rinse that out with my little flat brush. And let me get some of this blue gray. Now I'm just touching up what I see that it needs to be touched up. I'm going to just kind of blend this a little bit more in here, the shadow of the rocks and the water. Okay. And I think I'm about done with that one. I believe right now I'm just going to sign it and say I'm done. And I think, you know what, I'm not done. So change my mind. I can do that. I'm going to take a little dark gray and let's put some of the dark gray back on these trees back here. I made them disappear a little too much, so I'm just going to put in some black lines to show that those trees are there even though they're in the background in the shadows. Now I'm just touching it with some dark gray because I want to see those trees back there. Yeah, that looks much better. Okay. And let's see what else. I think one more thing. Let's use some of that, the blue gray that we made. And let's kind of put it back up in here. And give this guy a little shadow back in here. Actually, the whole, in this little hill back here. Or I mean in the background, sorry. And we'll just kind of drag that down a little bit. Give it some personality and kind of make it stand out a little more. Just kind of look a little plain. And this is just that blue gray color on my flat brush, and I'm just putting it down and pulling it a little bit. And maybe a little further down. Yeah, add a little color there. I think that looks much better. Okay. So let's take one more quick glance at it. I'll blend that in a little bit. Yeah, I like that much better. Alrighty. Now I'm gonna call that done. So I hope you have your masterpiece done and I hope you like it. And if you do paint this, please post it. Let me know. I can't wait to see it. And I look forward to seeing you on the next midweek masterpiece. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye-bye.